Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is David Walker. I'm the director of the Small Business Development Center in Reading. We cover Shasta and Trinity counties. We're funded by the Small Business Administration to provide no-cost advisory services and workshops and webinars like this one for you, entrepreneurs and small businesses. We're funded by your tax dollars. So thank you for paying those taxes. We appreciate it. Keeps us going here. And before we get Zack to start this presentation, if you're interested in one of the SBA loans, the emergency injury disaster loan or the Paycheck Protection Program, and if you need some information or you have any questions, give us a call. You can call our local number, 530-222-8323, or we have a centralized number now for all of Northern California, and there are some experts that are manning that phone line. That number is 833-ASK-SBDC. In real life, that's 833-275-7232. And the number is, or you could go to our website, sbdcsc.org. So with that, it's all yours, Zack.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, David. All right, so just a really quick background on me. My name is Zack Barton. Thanks for joining. If you just jumped in, we are using the chat box. I do want to keep this a little bit more conversational than we did last time because, well, heck, I don't want to present a bunch of information that sounds like Greek to you, and I'm happy to slow down or answer some questions along the way if needed, okay? But a little bit about me. I own a web design agency here in downtown Reading. I'm at the office right now. We've had our doors open since 2014. We do web design, web development, email marketing, social media marketing, and other projects, establishing or building businesses' online presence, and I've had the privilege of serving clientele like Eddie Bauer, Wells Fargo, Bethel Church, Vitamin Shop, T-Mobile, Ely Tahari, Skechers, and many more. So a quick agenda overview. We are going to touch on what is SEO, and that would be for the brand newbies in the room, so to speak, and what is local SEO. And then beyond that, we're going to dig into recommendations. I have 15 recommendations here. And so that's a lot, I know, and you might not need to worry about all those. You might just want to worry about one or two. Even that would be really productive. If you are, totally brand new, it would be great even if you just really nailed step one, maybe steps 1 and 2. But anyways, even if you are intermediate or advanced in your SEO skills, I think, if you could picture kind of a roadmap, start to finish, wherever finish is, really no matter where you're at on your journey, I think you're going to have some good nuggets of information here for you. So we'll hit local SEO recommendations. In those 15 recommendations, the first few are for local SEO. There's a couple that are you can kind of classify as local and beyond local. And then the rest are just kind of beyond local. And we'll wrap up, and then we should have some time for any final questions, okay? And then I saw a comment come in, if I can get to it. Sounded like we have someone from Europe watching. Yep, that's pretty fun. Levi, okay, Levi's messaging me privately. He's watching from Europe. Excellent. Sounds good. So our objective to this would be, by the end of this, that you'll have enough of a basic understanding of SEO and local SEO to help improve your site's search visibility and traffic. So in other words, we want to help you get on Google. By the end of this, we can lead the horse to water, but we can't make you do anything with these notes. But if you actually apply this, yes, you'll get on Google, and yes, you can start to climb depending on how much effort you put into this. And as mentioned, you're going to learn 15 actionable, practical steps to help you no matter where you're at on your journey. Okay, so let's start with the very basics. What is SEO? And so you'll see to the right that we have someone who searched for flavored coffee beans. So those are the search results. And I'll give you a Wikipedia definition that would be search engine optimization, SEO, is the process of increasing the quality and quantity of website traffic by increasing the visibility of a website or webpage to users of a search engine. So that sounds pretty funny to read, but I wanted to provide it anyway. What it is you want to get on the search engine and you want to climb the results. So can you guys see my cursor here, or is it just my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so these are ads in this example, but down below these paid Google ads, you're going to see the organic results. So SEO is about getting on there in the first place and then learning what it takes to climb past your competitors and to get more people to click on your search engine result. Okay, clear as mud. So people have some pretty funny expectations with SEO, and I've inserted some memes here just to keep you guys awake. It's later in the day for most of you. I'm not sure about our friend in Europe there, but so you might not get to the #1 spot on Google over the weekend. So don't be this guy. Unfortunately, I've only heard that once. I was talking with somebody from Moz, who is arguably the biggest who's who business in the SEO world, and they were able to take someone to the top overnight. And that was the only time I've heard that in the last over a decade. So depends on what the search term is for. But if it's for the name of your business, yeah, you can hopefully you'll rank #1 as soon as you land on Google. But if it's for something like you're a shoe store and you're selling Nike shoes, it's not going to be so easy to climb to that #1 spot. To climb past Nike and to climb past Foot Locker, and will be a little bit tricky. But we'll dig in to how do you get onto Google, and how do you climb those search results. Before we get into that, though, we're going to talk about local SEO, as mentioned. And local SEO has just blown up in the last few years, as I'm sure some of you know. But you'll see this is local. This would be called the local search pack. If you were talking to me in a meeting, that's what I would call this. These are the local search results. And so this is here in Reading. We just created this mock-up sometime in the last week and just typed in McDonald's, and instead of going right to what is McDonald's and mcdonalds.com, Google is throwing in the local search results, and that changes things. That changes things for people who are in SEO. Absolutely, it changes things for the business, and now all of a sudden climbing past people within these local search results is a thing. And so we're going to dig into that a little bit too. But for a definition, I mentioned Moz. They are a wonderful resource for all things SEO. They define local SEO like this. Local SEO is all about increasing search visibility for businesses that serve their communities face-to-face. Okay. So we're here in Reading, and so that would apply to us. If you're here in Reading or you serve people face-to-face, local SEO is for you. If you don't, you can kind of hit the snooze button on this part of the presentation, okay? So these can be brick and mortar businesses with physical locations, like a grocery store or a dentist's office, or service area businesses that operate throughout a certain geographic region, like an electrician or a house cleaning company. And so I'm just going to pause there and say, how many of you have seen those cleaning made cars, kind of racing around town, going from business to business? And if you're familiar with that, they might not have an office somewhere, but they're seeing people face to face. So local SEO is absolutely important to people like that as well. But to wrap up their definition, so this includes everything from claiming a business listing to ensuring a franchise location appears in a local search on Google. So in other words, if you're, as you saw in that screenshot, it's not like there's only one McDonald's, that's going to show up in the local search results. If there are 5 in the area, they're going to show up. So making sure they show up, making sure they're showing up properly, paraphrasing a little here, but it also extends to managing online ratings and reviews, which are extremely important, local centric social media engagement, and beyond. So we're going to dig into the recommendations here. As mentioned, these should be helpful to you no matter where you're at on your SEO journey. Now, if you are an established business and you're way on top of SEO, or if local SEO doesn't apply to you because you're not a maid, or you don't have a physical location, or you're in the middle of nowhere, Alaska, or you're only online, again, you can skip these first couple, but bear with us, and hey, maybe you can help somebody else that is in this position. They have a store, a storefront, or see customers face to face. But so, are your local listings set up? So, with search engines, local search results being more important than ever, local SEO is something to take very seriously. You can set up profiles on Google by using Google My Business. So if you don't know, Dave and I, we just did this presentation, I think a month or 2 ago in Weaverville, and I think there were about almost 30 people there, and some of them had no idea if their business showed up in the local search results. And that was crazy to me. But so, make sure you have a local profile set up on Google My Business, as well as Yahoo Local, as well as Bing Places. I don't know about you, I always use Google, but I actually do know people that really don't like Google. And I also know people that probably really could care less what search engine they're using. And for those couple of categories of people, you obviously want to get on Yahoo Local and Bing Places as well. They're really, really similar. It take a little bit longer to set up your profile on those, but really is well worth it. So, because a lot of people, they search for something and they're not going to scroll past those local search results. So this is really, really important. So, and then you'll see that I wrote here, don't have a physical location, no longer an issue. This was an issue, gosh, I think they changed that 3 or 4 years ago. You can look that up if you really care. But you used to have a physical location in order for Google to list you in the local listings when they first came out. Now, they will make sure that you're a real person. So they're going to send you a postcard and make sure you get it. You'll have to punch in a code, more than likely. And so they want to make sure you're real. But again, if you're a cleaning maid service or something like that, or carpet cleaning service, and you don't happen to have a storefront, that's not a barrier to entry anymore. So again, just another quick screenshot of someone taking a look at the local search results. And then after you have, your profile set up on these, do you have them optimized? Okay. So by that, I'll just say, make sure your listings include, your business name, your address, your contact information. It's crazy to me. Sometimes, we'll look for, maybe we'll want Mexican food or Indian food or whatever. And we'll open up Google and look for something and are shocked when some of this information is missing. I have no idea. I can't know exactly how much business these people are missing out on by not providing this really important information, but I'm sure it's they don't realize it, but they're taking a hit by not filling things out correctly. Get some nice photos on there. If you can get videos on there, there is a place for a write-up. There are places for keywords. Okay, and so here's a quick example that our administrative assistant put together. This is fictitious over here, but this would get you a frowny face where you don't have that great of a rating. Okay, and I don't see a correct address. This is definitely a wrong phone number. This business, oops, it hasn't been claimed. There's not much right going on here. And so if you were searching on your phone and you saw this, what are the odds that I mean, I can almost feel myself wanting to scroll past this, even though I'm not on a phone right now. What are the odds that you're actually going to try to pursue this further? You're probably not. Okay. But, and we should probably take ours out of here. It's kind of silly for me to show ours, but you know, you want to make sure that your address is in there, that your hours are in there, that you have, that you're getting ratings and reviews, that you have photos to show people that yes, you're real, yes, you are human beings. That stuff really matters to people. Okay. Services, the about, that kind of information, super important. Okay. One of the last recommendations we're going to make when it comes to local SEO would be making sure you're getting client reviews consistently. I could change this to week for some people, or I could, you know, it really depends on what you're going for. But here's how you want to know what you're going for in terms of, you know, someone might say, how many good client reviews do I need? And I would answer with, there's not a magic number, but this is the best I can do. Take a look at your competitors' listings. So if you're a shoe store here in Reading, you know, look for shoes on your phone on Google and see what are your competitors, what do they have? Do they have 30? Do they have 300? Do they have 0? And if they have 300 and you only have 20, that's not good. You know, you're going to want to put a little sign up or put a little incentive out there, or at least start asking your best customers or happy customers, would you mind writing us a review really quick? We're trying to work on our online presence. I hate to bother you, but if you have a second, we would really appreciate it. Almost everybody, if you're really polite about that and don't just send them a canned email, you're gonna get, you know, people usually be happy to do that for you, honestly. So really something to think about. And I'm gonna show you a quick example of that. Before I do, are you guys tracking with me? Am I going too fast? How's everybody doing? Are you guys still awake? Not seeing any. Okay, good. So I'm going to give you a quiz here. Excellent. Okay. Just making sure, and pardon the background noise if you hear screeching tires outside. Our office is downtown, so there is some fun traffic out there. Anyway, so here we go. We're going to do a little pop quiz. Are you ready? So welcome back, Marlene. So we're gonna say, you know, we want burgers tonight. That's what we want for dinner. But today's our first day in the United States of America. We're here. The first thing we want to do is get a cheeseburger. Okay, which isn't crazy. You know, this happens. There are a lot of internationals here in Reading. So let's pretend that's your situation. You don't happen to have some kind of concierge, you know, showing you around and answering these kind of questions for you. So you Google it, okay? So you just search for, you know, cheeseburger Reading or hamburger near me or something like that, okay? And so you're gonna look at the top few results because most people will only look at the top few results, honestly. I think it's 90% of the searchers don't go past the top 5. I believe it's the statistic on that last time I checked. Anyway, so we're gonna look at the top 3, okay? So we got In-N-Out Burger here in Reading. And remember, you're really hungry. We'll pretend that you didn't just eat dinner before you hopped in this Zoom webinar, but we got In-N-Out Burger Reading. You know, we're trying to make a decision here just based on this information. We see 4.6 stars, almost 4,000 reviews. Okay, sounds good. A lot of positivity here. We got Five Guys, 4.3 stars, 464 reviews. Okay, these people seem pretty happy. And then last we got The Habit, which is 4.5 stars, a little over 1,000 reviews. So now remember, just put your user hat on. You're not you. You are a first-time burger eating international. Which one looks most appealing to you? And I'm going to let you answer in the chat box just to make sure that you're awake. Spring, good to see you. You were in the last webinar. Great. In and out. Okay. Okay. Pamela votes in and out. Highest rated one, in and out. Okay. So excellent. Yeah, I mean, that's it. You guys nailed it. It's going to be in and out. And because they have the highest average rating and they also have the most reviews. So if what Julia's saying, in and out because Five Guys doesn't have vegetarian burgers. You know, I wasn't really happy with the last time I had Five Guys as well. So we got to talk to them, huh? No, they're great. But yeah, honestly, you know, these guys are probably doing great with people who are in that situation because they are, you know, they have the highest rating and they have the most reviews. So case closed, these guys are probably cleaning up here. Now, if I was, or if you were, let's say you were the manager of Five Guys here, and what would you do? You know, one thing that I might recommend to you is put a little sign up or start asking customers, because if you can aim for, you know, 3 a day or whatever you need to aim for, obviously these guys are getting a lot more traffic than a lot of local businesses, but if you can really ramp things up, if you can get anywhere near here, then you would stand a chance. You at least want to beat out these guys. You know, this is a little bit more of a low-hanging fruit, at least not super easy, but you really got to step on it at this point. You know, I hope that makes sense to everybody, but that's how people think. Okay, so now we're going to start to get into local SEO and beyond. Okay, and yeah, Don has a recommendation: give customers a discount when they do a review. That's a great idea. I don't know if it would go against Google's terms of service or not. But that's a great thought. You know, a lot of people do that kind of thing. I think Yelp might be against that. No, Yelp promotes that. But no, that's a great thought. Honestly, do whatever you can. You can give away free high fives. You know, if we weren't in the middle of the coronavirus stuff, you can give away something, or at least you can ask really nicely and just see what happens. But yeah, absolutely. So moving along. So recommendation number 4. This is kind of local, kind of not. Are you listed in industry directories? And so you might be scratching your head like, what are you talking about with industry directories? So if you search for specific industry directories, you're going to see, you can see where your competitors are listed around the web. So again, I don't know why I keep using a shoe store example. One of our clients is a shoe store. That's probably why. But if you were to search for Reading shoes, and you took a look around, you started looking at your competitors' websites, you can actually search for their website in Google. There's a certain way to do it where you can kind of almost do like a reverse search, and you can see which websites they're showing up on. And so let's say I was a manager of Foot Locker here in Reading, and we really wanted to work on our SEO. I could search for Reading shoe stores. I could search for California shoe stores or American shoe stores, and just start going through and seeing where these other shoe stores are listed around the web. And there are a lot of directory websites. So all they are directories. So you might have heard of like All Top. I don't know if I would consider All Recipes one, probably not, but they're just directory. They're just lists of links. Why is that important? Here's why. So that's called link building. When you start to build more and more links that point back to you, it's a huge, very well-known SEO strategy. Generally speaking, the more and better websites are linking back to you, the better chances you have in climbing past your competitors in the search engine results pages. If you see SERPs, stands for search engine results pages, just the search results. So again, if you're going to take one thing away from here, this could be a good one. But you really want to get more links pointing to your website, okay? You don't want crummy back alley, no good links pointing to your website. You want good quality backlinks pointing to your website. In general, the more the better, and the better chances you have of climbing past your competitors. We're going to dig more into that soon. This is a great read. You're going to see some references as we go along here. Backlinko is wonderful. Check them out. This is a killer read if you have some time. Okay. Now we're just going to go beyond local. Okay. So here, you know, we're not looking at the local search pack. We're not looking at Google ads, you know, the one that say paid ad or sponsored or whatever it says. These are just what we would call the organic search results. Okay. Is everybody tracking with me when I say that? Organic search results, just the regular stuff you see in Google. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Spring. Just what you see beyond the local and beyond the ads, just the ordinary stuff. We call those the organic search results. Okay. Excellent. So these are, you know, recommendation 5 through 15 are all what we're going to count towards those, the beyond local stuff. It's not local, it's beyond. It's the, we could almost just say organic SEO. Okay, this is really good stuff because you can do paid ads, and for certain businesses that makes a lot of sense. I don't have time to get into when it does and when it doesn't right now. I'd love to cover that, but what was I going to say? You can do paid ads, but if you can really start to outrank your competition organically, then you're not paying for that. And that's fantastic. That's even better, right? Because Google ads, that can get really pricey really quick, just like any other ads. So anyways, if you are wanting to focus on your just really doing well in organic search results, first thing you should do is read Google's SEO starter guide. Super important. This is going to teach you, you can literally do just a Google search for this, Google SEO starter guide, or you can take a screenshot or write this down. That would probably take longest. But anyways, they're going to coach you through, you know, make sure you're on Google. Here's how, the importance of your title tags, the importance of your meta tags, and snippets, and heading tags. And there are basics that are there are too many of them. They're very easy. They're not complicated at all. It's not scary stuff. Okay, it's not rocket science. I promise you. Unless you've like never worked on a website before, then that might be pretty intimidating, I guess. But if you have it, it's much simpler than, you know, web development. It's not like learning CSS or PHP or anything like that. This is very simple stuff, okay? But they're going to tell you some basic steps and why they're really important, and how things like how your title tag is what shows up as the blue link in those search results, and the meta tag, that's what shows up in the text beneath it, and how you should write it, and how many characters, and those kind of things. Really important stuff, okay? If you've already done this, bear with me. We'll start to get to some good nuggets for you real soon here. Okay. So let's say you've already done that. You're like, hey, I have a 1-pager or I have a 3-pager website and we're already on Google. We're just really not getting that much traffic. So this is probably the next step. I almost picture like a Candyland kind of board game where you move from step to step. This would almost be your next step, okay? Do you have a separate page for every product or service you offer? So, hey, if you're already nailing it, getting on, you're already on Google, you got your homepage on there, your couple pages on there. Hey, if you just have a small website, hey, start to build out some more pages. You can build out a separate page for every product you offer, for every service you offer. And just to read what I have here below, it's a great way to get more information to your customers. So it's helpful to people too, which is really important. And quality content for search engines. List all your products, list all your services, create a page for each one of them. And then I'll just say this, that really good content pages, if you really want to go, you know, turn a home run into like a grand slam here with your pages, and you have plenty of time, there's a term called skyscraper pages. And if you look at a skyline, I know we don't really have one here in Reading, but I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and we have a little skyline there. Skyscrapers are those buildings that your eyes go right to, and you kind of wonder, what building is that? You know, if they don't have a big logo at the top of it, you know, who's in there? Is that a lot of businesses or what? They get a lot of eyeballs, right? So skyscraper pages are kind of the same thing. Oftentimes they're going to have a great video transcribed, or it's like a really long, really in-depth article. Long story short, aim to outdo your competitors, okay? When you do that, it's good for humans. It's good for search engines. Search engines definitely pay attention to things like, do you have a video on your page? They pay attention to things like, you know, your competitor has 100 words on his shoe store, you know, on his page about Nike, but you have 3,000 words in a video, you know. So they're gonna, those kind of things really add weight when you talk about the algorithm, when you talk about the ranking factors, which we'll dig more into, the things that decide what moves the needle, what's Google considering more important and giving more attention to, okay? Kind of along those lines, do you have long form pages? A long form page, not a long form page like a contact form, but a long form page would be a page containing a minimum of 500 words. Search engines do care about this, as I already mentioned. If you're kind of scratching your head wondering, what the heck do I write about? You know, check your hard drive for content you can use. Check emails that you've sent. I like to honestly, you know, when I need to come up with new content, we'll say, what questions are people asking me all the time lately? You know, what's the question I've heard the most in the last month? You know, and bam, if you've written that email or if it's fresh in your mind, that's great to write about. FAQs are great. You know, maybe you have a bunch of questions. You know, you can look at your proposals or presentations, kind of depending on what kind of business you're in or organization. But that can be some good material to turn into long form pages. And really think about taking that skyscraper approach. High quality content is absolutely what humans and search engines are looking for. And there are, this is an excellent article right here. I just want to highlight this, by the way. If you are, if you're building a page that is really, really helpful to humans, that's something that Google notices, because not only are they looking at the duration, the amount of time it takes, you know, when someone clicks on your page from a Google search result and then they're looking at your page, how long are they spending? Are they looking at it for a half second and then leaving? That's not sending a good signal to Google, okay? But if they're spending 3, 4, 5 minutes on that page, Google is taking note of that. And they're saying, oh, dang, okay, there's something to this page. Let's note that, okay? And that's not a person that's writing that down. You know, that's part of their, we'll just say like web crawler or spider, that's going around and looking and taking note of things like that. Now they do have humans too, and one of the known ranking factors at Google is how helpful is a page. Now I'm not sure if they're hiring right now because of the crazy situation in the world right now, but if you checked last year, I could guarantee you could actually get a job. I don't think it would pay very much, but you could work for Google just examining search results and saying, yes, this was helpful, yes, this was relevant, or no, it wasn't. So interestingly enough, one of their known over 200 ranking factors is, you know, what do humans actually think about this page? Is this really helpful? Now I saw a question or a comment. Let's see here. In web development, this is from Spring, is single page having more value or multiple pages? When it comes to SEO, so that's a really good question. And some people are gonna, you're gonna see different schools of thought out there, Spring. One of them is gonna be that if you have really old page, let's say you have a website with 300 pages on it. If you have really, really old pages and they're not doing anything for you, it's almost like pruning in a good way to trim those off. If nobody's using them, you can look at the analytics using Google Analytics or whatever else you use for analytics and say, yeah, there's been one person here in the last year. Those kind of pages you can do away with. But if you're talking about going from a 5-page website to a 20-page website, it's almost a no-brainer if you could really do it well. I hope that is helpful to you. But if you have more to ask on that, definitely feel free to throw it out there. So, and then here's someone, I guess, building out a long form page. To be honest with you, it's just some stock photo we took from Unsplash. But so here we go. Number 8, is every page of your website optimized? Okay, so you got your pages on Google. Now here comes the fun part. You know, have you done any keyword research? And some of you are probably wondering, like, what is keyword research? What are you talking about? So keyword research is a thing, and you can identify target keywords for every page based on your keyword research. And I'll explain a tiny bit of that rather than trying to just use basic keyword research or no keyword research for your website as a whole. So some people will say, I know that we're supposed to do some kind of keyword research, but they think that you're supposed to just do it for the whole website in one shot. But people don't search for websites in one shot. People search, Google doesn't show websites like that. They show web pages. So if you're going to do keyword research, you want to do it the right way. Do them page by page, and starting with your most important pages. There is a little bit of a learning curve to it, but it's really, really, really not rocket science. In general, you want to start to use SEO tools if you're going to do things like this. Moz is a great one. Backlinko has one. Ahrefs has one, and we use Moz a lot. We're most familiar with that, but I don't have time to go into all of keyword research, but essentially, the more pages you could do keyword research, the better. It's really, really going to pay off. But you, in short, come up with a list of possible keywords for a page. Let's say it was, let's see here, maybe a decaf tea from China or something like that. So you can come up with like decaf tea from China or Chinese tea, decaf, all these different combinations. And then you want to come up with as many variations as you can. So add an S to it, or try turning them into a question, or adding Reading to the end of it, or whatever, things like that. And then you would run those through your paid SEO tool like Moz, and do some keyword research on there. And again, this is a general overview, not an in-depth teaching on keyword research, but just so you're not scratching your head anymore, hopefully. You can then say, okay, we've used this keyword research tool. We came up with 20 ideas. This tool turned it into 200 ideas, and then it checked all of them to see which one is the best candidate for us based on how popular our website is versus our competitors. Now we know what the best keyword is, and so you can plop that keyword a few times on your page, and there's ways to do that and not to do that. But anyways, this is optimizing your page. You can do this page by page. Even the biggest, baddest companies, websites out there, they're not going to optimize every single page. They just don't have time for it. But at least do your main pages if you're really going to dig into SEO and take it seriously. Now, I know I just opened a can of worms with the keyword research thing. Honestly, we could and probably should do another hour and a half teaching on that alone. But just wanted to give you a really general overview. This is a great next step beyond having long form pages. Like, okay, you created great content here, but now take it a step further and optimize them with great keywords. Okay, this is really going to help you. These are people coming up with keyword ideas. So I'm going to take a quick pause here. We're about to dig into step 9 or recommendation 9. How's everybody doing? Are you getting any of this information? Is this helpful? Are you tracking with me at all?
Hi, Zach. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Oh, I just love your presentation, by the way. It's you're so knowledgeable. I can just sense all that wisdom coming forth. So I come from a marketing background. So it sounds like, as I'm hearing you, there's like a balance between SEOs and like how our user interface will be affected. It sounds like your skyscraper analogies, which is really helpful. But it sounds like it's a lot of times it's like the more pages that you have, there's like more time for loading and redirecting. And a lot of times, like, people, when it's a bad user experience, they just kind of leave the page. Like when you have a lot of video contents and all those visuals, it tends to slow down the redirecting and the loading of the page. And also I have heard on the marketing standpoint is that when you have like a single page website where people can scroll down, that it actually is easier for engagement and for people to remain on your page. So in terms of balancing between the SEO and also like user interface, how do you have any kind of tips on how to balance the two, having the both, like best of the both, the two values?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a really, really good question. So I can tell you how not to do it, and I can tell you what I would do if I were you. So how not to do it is when I was just about to graduate from design school, I got picked up by an agency in Cleveland. I worked there for almost 6 years. I would not do what we did there. I wasn't calling the shots. I was, just on the team, but we were doing SEO for companies, and it was more like keyword stuffing. I mean, it wasn't black hat SEO, and by black hat, if you're not familiar with that term, shady, against terms of service kind of SEO. Like, hey, how can we, do exploits and things like that. We were almost, we were kind of, I guess you call it gray hat SEO. Like, what can we really, really push here? And we kind of, I kind of started to get picked on by my boss because I was more on the side of, but this isn't a good user experience, and if all you're doing is caring for the search engines, that's not good. So I would not do that. I would not, if you're looking at, if there's a tension and one side is good user experience and one was really good SEO, there shouldn't have to be, it shouldn't be a teeter-totter. It should be both. You really should be able to do both. Don't, just follow best practices for both. Follow, for, usability, and, you can find great usability best practices out there. I almost wanted to send you a link. If you want one, let me know afterwards and I can send it to you. But there are great studies that have been done out there. But the other thing I want to say is you got to balance it with your own data, because statistics aren't everybody, and everyone's demographic is different. Our agency, we serve business owners and directors and things like that. We're not McDonald's. We're not serving, 12-year-old kids who want a toy with their French fries. So I say that to say this, and I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying that your website, you got to see what's working for you, and it's a great idea to start with best practices and sticking to, what's outlined in terms of service, with Google or whoever. Don't go breaking rules with SEO, but honor what they have, but, do your best with usability. Absolutely. But be testing. If you're familiar with A/B testing, I mean, that's a great next step for someone like you who's like, hey, this isn't new to me. How do we grow from here? See what your competitors are doing. See what your research is telling you to try. Maybe they're telling you to try green buttons instead of blue buttons, or whatever the research is for your industry. And give it a shot, but A/B test, see what's performing better. And that's it almost sounds like that's the situation you're in. You might want to start thinking about doing A/B testing, and pairing that with best practices. But yeah, if you don't have the resources to have 10 skyscraper pages, if half of them are going to be total duds, oh no, zero it in on just the ones that that you can really excel at. So no, I shouldn't take too long camping out here, but was that helpful to you at all? Okay.
Oh yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I would love to have that link to the article. If it's
okay,
possible.
excellent. Yeah, I'll have to shoot that over to you. So maybe if you can private message me your email address, I can email that over to you. But
Okay.
but yeah, it's just a long list of studies that have been done with usability testing that say, hey, best case scenario, you do this. 20% of the time, this is going to outperform this, things like that. But again, you kind of have to test for your own audience, because it might be true for the websites that were tested there, but if your audience is totally different, they might like just one long page, so I wouldn't want to tell you go with 20 pages when your audience, they absolutely love one pagers for some reason. So, but yeah, A/B testing, look it up. It's a thing. A/B doesn't stand for anything. It's just version A versus version B. And it's just testing out different ideas and seeing which one's performing better. You obviously have to have enough of a sample of traffic. You can't base it on 10 visits or something like that. But if you're getting thousands or hundreds of thousands of visits, then you can really test things out and say, you know what? the blue button did work better than the green button. So and you can make your decisions based on that. So, okay, so we're going to keep moving. And so we almost skipped this, going right to my next meme. So number 9, do you have many external websites linking to your website? So we already kind of touched on this a little bit, but again, backlinks are very, 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 very important. This should be bold, underlined, italics with a highlighter on it with arrows pointing to it. When it comes to telling search engines how important your website is, it's almost like if I walked into a house party, and not that I've been to one in a while, but and there's one guy telling a story, and there are 20 people like jaws dropped, applauding, and they can't wait to hear his next word. And then across the room, there's one guy telling a story, and literally no one is paying attention to him. That's kind of how search engines see this, and they're saying, okay, does Spring's website have 100 websites pointing back to it, or does it have 0? Does it have 1? And that's not the only ranking factor, but studies show that that is the number 1 ranking factor to telling how important your website is to search engines. So thank you, Spring, for passing me your email. Got it. So I do have to say this, though, before I get to that meme that I keep on accidentally clicking to, but not all links are created equal. If your website's really popular and you're linking to my website, Google is going to say, oh, that's a really popular website linking to his site. And they're going to give it more what we would call link juice or link equity or weight. Okay, so it counts more. It's almost like if you if you just wrote a book and there was someone who gave you a little write-up at the beginning and they're world famous. Gosh darn, that's going to really help your book. That's going to really send some signals, right? Well, same thing with your website. You want more websites. Again, they have to be quality, but there is a little asterisk that I need to add to that, and it's you need to keep in mind what's called the no-follow rule. And yeah, there's no space there for a reason. So no-follow is a little parameter in HTML. I should have a screenshot of it, but I don't. And what it says is, don't pass any link equity over to the website that we're linking to. I'm going to tell you why that exists, but you're going to see it on almost every really, really popular website where people can have accounts like Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram or Yelp or whatever. You can have your website listed. You could be thinking, hey, great. Well, I'm going to get my first few backlinks today. There's a link pointing back to my website from Facebook. There's a link pointing back from Twitter and Instagram, and woohoo! That's exciting. It seems like for a second, but if you look at the code underneath, you might see this. It'll say rel equals no follow, and it's a little snippet of HTML in the link tag. Try not to get too nerdy on you guys, but this basically tells search engines, oh, don't count any of this link juice. It just doesn't count. And so why would that be a thing? Why would Facebook not want to? I'm gonna quiz you guys and see if anybody knows this. Why would Facebook and companies like that not want to pass link equity to your website from theirs? If you know, I want you to throw it out there in the chat box, or you can just guess. Bam, Marlene got it. Perfect. And Joe, yeah, that's probably a good thought too. No money in it. But Marlene really nailed it. Avoid spammers. If I own Facebook, if I own that website, okay, not that there's just one owner sitting somewhere in a room, but if I did, gosh darn, no, we're going to have no follow on every link, because otherwise you're going to have people, you already have enough spammers on Facebook. Facebook is like a cesspool. You're going to have, double, triple, it's going to be through the roof of people just constantly pumping in garbage links, affiliate links. So Pamela is asking, what about affiliate links? Are these different? That's a really good question, and I can't give you a one-size-fits-all answer. The best I can say is either look up the no-follow rule if you want to learn a little bit more about the no-follow rule, or there's different ways that are really easy to tell if because all links are different, but you can tell if a link has the no-follow parameter on it or not. You can either, if you're using Chrome, you can right-click it and you can click inspect and look at the link and see if you see the words no follow in the link tag. Or if you're not a big nerd like me and you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can download the Moz toolbar for your browser for free. It's $0, zero obligation. And with that, you can, within 2 clicks, I almost want to show you, within 2 clicks, you can tell which links are no follow links and which ones are what we would just call follow links, even though you don't see the word follow on follow links. They just don't have no follow. So anyways, that's a lot of information. I know, bear with me, but you don't want to wind up like this lady. Spends years building PR links, no follow. You don't want to be her, okay? Don't be her, guys. If you already are, or if you're about to start really working on SEO and say, okay, got it. We need backlinks. You don't want to wind up like her and think, we got one. All right. I know some people, we do this sometimes, even aim for 1 a week. We have one client where we aim for a few a month of backlinks, just some basic SEO work. And yes, it eventually moves the needle. Absolutely. But man, if there are no follow links, those are not going to move the needle. There could be value if people are actually finding you and learning about you on websites like Alignable, or those websites where you're like, I don't know if I should be on this website or not. Check to see if it's a no follow link or a follow link. Hey, if websites like Alignable have a follow link and they're really popular websites, yeah, do yourself a favor and get your organization or business on there. So, okay, moving on. I already kind of just covered this. And okay, so Marlene's asking for, what do you suggest for finding high quality links? That is a really, really good question. High quality backlinks, I would honestly kind of go back to one of the first recommendations here. I can't remember what number it was, might have been 3 or 4, but it was where I mentioned doing a Google search for your competitors, and not necessarily looking at your competitors' websites, but looking at the websites that link back to your competitors, okay? That right there, there are lists of websites to get on. You can probably find that too. You could search for follow backlink websites, 2020 or something like that. You might find some good stuff in there. You might find some duds in there, and that might help you. But what I would really do is, again, Google your competitors and see who's linking to their website. It might be the Better Business Bureau. It might be the Chamber of Commerce. It might be whoever it is. It might be some blog. Step one would be getting on as many websites as you can, just going and filling out those profiles and doing things like that. And that's going to get you so far. It's almost like the candy of your backlinks, but eventually you're going to run out of that, or you're going to need more than that. Okay. If you're doing really serious hardcore link building. And so what we'll do is, and this is kind of the popular thing out there among agencies that just focus on search engine optimization, or if that's one of their main service offerings, they will really get into content writing or helping with content writing, and then getting backlinks by doing guest blogging and things like that. Okay, thanks, David. Yep, David's going to get the usability link from me and send it to everyone in the morning. That's wonderful. Thank you. So anyways, yeah, 2-part answer. First part was, search for your competitors, see who's linking back to them. Some of those websites you're not going to be able to get on, but some of them you absolutely are. You're going to go, I've never even heard of this, but they have a follow backlink. Wonderful. That's perfect. Do as many of those as you can. They're going to take some time. So don't try to do 100 in a day. But man, if you can even aim for 1 a week, that's great. And then the other one was, again, guest blogging or things like that, content writing, or have someone write on your site. You can start to do exchanges like that aren't against anybody's rules. They're not shady at all. When it comes to the real serious SEO agencies, that's kind of what they end up leaning on after they exhaust all the easy links. So I got to keep moving, but that was an excellent question. Okay. So here's basically what I just said. That's funny. So yeah, look at the sites that link to your competition for ideas. The higher the quality, the better. The quality is more important than quantity here. So boy, if I can get Forbes.com to link to our website, that's better than 10 no-name websites linking to our website, if that makes sense. And there's more to it than that. But avoid black hat SEO tactics at all costs. Paid backlinks, shady website, duplicate content. Just don't do that. Why wouldn't I want to do that? Here's another pop quiz just to kind of keep you guys awake. Why don't I want to? I want to rank high. Why should I not do black hat SEO tactics? Why? Who cares, right? Why does it matter? Does anybody have any idea? Uniqueness, okay. Maybe. You'll get flagged. Chad nailed it. Yep, you get a black mark. So Google and other search engines will absolutely penalize you. You don't want that. All your hard effort down the drain. You definitely don't want that. These guys know what's up. So yeah, I've worked with companies where there's one in particular I mentioned last time. I won't name names, but they got penalized for violating terms of service. They were, I won't get into what they were doing, but it was technically, it would fall under black hat SEO. And they relied on, for, it seemed like at least $8,000 a day in revenue came from Google traffic. They're not a small website. They were a top 500 internet retailer website. And so tons of sales every day. And a good amount came from Google traffic. That all went down to zero because they were doing this kind of stuff. And I'm gonna omit details. You'll know if you're penalized. You know, you could find this, Jabari, great question. If you have a Google Search Console, if you have an account there, you should get either a notification or be able to see that. Definitely keep an eye on your Google Search Console account here and there for things like this. But another one for big companies, you know, if you're getting, you know, 10, 20 visits a day, you might not notice that much. You might start to wonder after a week or two, where's all my traffic going? But, you know, if you're, you know, a top 500 or top 100 online retailer like that, hey, all of a sudden a giant chunk of your revenue is missing every day, you're going to start to figure that out real quick. So these guys actually started sending me around, you're welcome, sending me around to, they couldn't get a hold of Google. And so they started sending me around to places that Google was at conferences, just to grab a hold of a human, not literally, but almost. What can we do to get unpenalized? And that was a real nightmare. So, but hey, if you're losing that much money a day, you do whatever you need to do to get a hold of Google and get that taken care of. So this is a quick and easy one. Well, to some anyway. Spring kind of mentioned this. Does your website load faster than competitors? So you can run speed tests. Those are pretty easy to find. You can optimize images. You know, some people will say, hey, I know about Unsplash or these other great free image places. And so they just take it and they shove it in their website. Well, if it's like 4 times the size that it needs to be, you know, your website visitors are going to be pretty unhappy when they're sitting there 10, 15 seconds waiting for a page to load. So you can optimize your images. That'll help. You can just use Photoshop or different things. There's other programs out there too. You can remove unnecessary code. A lot of people don't really do audits on this, and that's a great thing you can do is, hey, we happen to have a couple JavaScript libraries sitting on the back end of our website. We don't need them anymore. Get rid of them. You don't need everybody that comes to your website loading all that up. Alt text, or if Chad, if you're just talking about the importance of alt text, absolutely. That would go under the recommendation of just understanding the basics. I think it was recommendation number 4 of going through Google's SEO starter guide, and things like alt text, your text headers, your metas, your titles, that's all going to be in there. So that's absolutely true. Yes, Chad, alt text is huge. But when it comes to optimizing, for speed, there's different ways to do it. These are some ways to do it. Some people just they're lazy with their hosting plan, or they don't want to spend an extra 10 or 20 bucks a month. That's ridiculous. I mean, this is definitely one of the known proven Google ranking factors. And it's one of the ranking factors that not just pop up in the studies from the big SEO companies, but it actually comes straight from the horse's mouth. Google themselves, this is old news, that yes, we do, that is a ranking factor for us. More people are using mobile for surfing the web than ever. It's over half of online traffic, over more than it is on mobile. And so, yeah, they need sites ranking faster. So yes, you want your site loading quickly. So again, I just kind of love throwing memes in these presentations. I think maybe it's to keep me awake. I don't know. But yeah, you want your website definitely looking good for mobile users. This is another one that that Google has come out and said. I think it was in November of 18. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was near the end of 18. Google said, "Yeah, by the way, we're going to start crawling as a mobile device now." And so, yikes! If you are doing, it's 2020, guys. If you don't have a mobile-friendly website, you really need to switch to a responsive design. Mobile sites are more of a thing of the past unless you're doing like a web app. But really, you definitely want a responsive design. It's very similar to keeping page load times down. It's a huge ranking factor in SEO. You're going to find that in independent studies, and you're going to find that directly from Google. Okay. There is a website that it's clearly responsive. It works fine on mobile. Another one, and this, to me, this one and the last two can almost be, low-hanging fruits. I just did this with a website today. They didn't have their SSL certificate, and I might be losing you guys, but bear with me. If this sounds foreign to you, if you've been to a website and it says "not secure" in the corner, it's going to say that if you're on Chrome. And thanks, Chrome. But yeah, if you don't have an SSL certificate, that's going to scare humans. That's kind of repulsive to me. But it's real easy to obtain that little padlock. It's called an SSL certificate. So you want a valid SSL certificate. It sounds like rocket science. It sounds like Greek to probably half of you, I know, but bear with me. It's really easy to obtain. You don't have to jump through any hoops. You don't have to pass any tests or anything. It might even be free depending on who you're hosting with. I'm not sure who you're hosting with. I'd love for you to shout that out in the chat box just out of curiosity, but the Bluehost offers a free SSL certificate. You just have to know that they do and get it in your admin. SiteGround, which I'm liking recently as a host, they have multiple free SSL certificates, which is really nice. Let's see here. I'm going to try to pull up sorry, someone just said something and I lost my chat box for some reason. Oh, here we go. Pantheon. Okay, Pantheon, that's interesting. That makes me think that you're probably not real new to the scene. I would think, does Pantheon, Pamela, do they have a free SSL certificate, or do you not know? If they don't, it's probably pretty cheap. I'm guessing, under $100 a year. But a lot of these hosts, okay, great. That's good to hear because I know they're not the cheapest host out there, but they're good. They're in my folder of hosts that we like. But yeah, a lot of hosts offer it for free. A Small Orange, I haven't heard of that one, Annalise. But if you have to pay for it, it's probably $100 or less. And if it's free, this is kind of painful to me, but if you have Bluehost, which a ton of people do, it's free, but you have to go in there and renew it in a really, there's a few kind of complicated steps. It doesn't just auto renew itself. And you have to do that every it's either 3 months or 6 months. So we have a couple of clients that they keep on saying, oh, my website's not showing up again. It's, it says not secure again, or, so we have to go back in there because they're really not tech savvy and are afraid to do this themselves. But anyways, it's nice with other companies where it doesn't just auto expire. If you're paying for it, it probably just won't poop out on you like that. But Pamela says, Pantheon was recommended by Shasta Venture Hub in Reading. They are also very agile and innovative as a host. That's awesome. Yeah, we've used them before. I don't remember which project it was, but it was a decent sized project. It was a pretty serious project. So yeah, I respect those guys. So, okay, here's a quick illustration if I still haven't, beaten this one to death. But so this is what you want. This means you have an SSL certificate. This is, again, going to get you a frowny face. And starting, I think it was last year, it says not secure, if you're using Chrome. So you want to avoid this situation, and you can probably do it for free. So, okay, and skip this one. So do you have a blog set up? Before, I think we used to have this say, like, then set up a blog if you don't. Well, I would say consider setting up a blog. You definitely don't want to set up a blog where, you start it and then you forget about it, and then you just never touch the thing because you just don't have time or headspace or both. That's not a good luck. And so if that's you, don't do this. I'm drawing a big X over this one. But if you have some time, or if you can hire someone to help you that's actually a decent writer and knows your business and knows the audience, then this can be another great way to get new content out there, which Google likes, and to get really good content out there. It's not only good for search engines, but again, this is good for humans too, or it can be. If you have a nice blog post coming out, that's another thing that you can email out to your clients, or to your subscribers. That's something that you can post to social media. It's free, so it's a great way to, as we put it in marketing, engage and warm up your audience. You're not asking them to buy anything, and that's a good thing, right? Because you don't want to just show up waving an ad right in front of their face when they don't know who you are. Let them get to know you. Help them out, and so this could be a really great thing when it comes to when we do a lot of marketing stuff, and this is something that we like to push. We call this kind of part of the on-ramp, so to speak, in turning people from they don't even know you to maybe this is a highway and they're a customer now. Okay, so it's somewhere on this little on-ramp here. They're getting to know you. You're helping them out. You're not really asking them to do anything, but maybe visit your website. So it's a great way to build an audience. Okay. So if you don't know what to blog about, even if you do, check your competitors' blogs for ideas, identify leading blogs in your niche, and aim for, maybe one a month at a minimum. Again, we've been on projects where people just couldn't keep up with their blog. And so we're kind of saying, hey, can we please remove that? Just do yourself a favor. It just doesn't look good. But obviously, the more the better. When you start really digging into following some of these SEO companies that themselves have blogs, they're pushing this as hard as they can. They're trying to come out with something every day, and to me that's a little bit much. But in general, the more the better. But there's not really a good one-size-fits-all answer for that. But again, you really want to be, if you're spending hours writing articles, good for you. Make sure they're on topics that your customers actually care about. But do yourself a favor and do a little bit, spend 20 minutes doing keyword research on that article and drop that in. It's not shady. This is a best practice. Google will tell you to do this. Don't abuse it. That's not good for you. But hey, if you're already spending hours, go that extra step and try to get some good keywords in there. And again, go for skyscraper content if you can. There's someone writing a blog with a newer WordPress website. This is kind of what it looks like on the back end these days. So 14, we're near the end here, guys. Hopefully you're still awake out there. Everybody still awake? You guys still with me? Yeah. Okay, great. Everybody's, oh, Joe is not asleep. Okay, perfect. Yeah. And then Jabari, not to nitpick, how much longer? We're almost done. There's 15 steps. We're on 14 TC. I know this is a lot of content, so thanks for bearing with me. And then Jabari says, not to nitpick, but a site without an SSL certificate would say HTTP, not HTTPS. True, unless you typed in HTTPS or clicked on a link that was HTTPS, and they just didn't happen to have a valid SSL certificate. So cool, thanks for bearing with me. And so do you know what to blog about? So I already gave you some ideas. Here are some other ones. We'll hit this real quick. Newsletters, seasonal buying guides, how-to articles, local interests, top 10 articles, product reviews, upcoming events, ways to use articles, screen capture videos, product videos, predictions or forecasting articles, FAQs, infographics, common mistakes articles, product or service comparisons, case studies, checklist content. So these are all awesome places to start. But yeah, see what your competitors are doing, and don't just copy them because you don't want to get penalized, of course. But and then this is going to be our last recommendation, and we really see this moving the needle. But yes, it can be very expensive, and so you gotta count the costs before you start, building your tower, so to speak. But do you use video extensively throughout your website? So consider setting up a YouTube or Vimeo channel. Big difference here. If you're happy to appear on camera, you could do things like whiteboard presentations, product or service descriptions, headshot or interview style stuff, FAQs, hints and tips. If you're thinking, that's not me, I am not going to show up on a camera. Before and after examples, talking slides, cartoons, tutorial videos should throw in there, screen captures, that kind of stuff you can absolutely still do. So you can still get plenty of stuff out there. And there's a big difference between YouTube and Vimeo. So I would say choose very wisely. They're very different. If you want to know more, you can ask, you can fire away in the chat box. But this would be kind of 15B, and then we're done with the recommendations. But if is anybody here on YouTube? Is anybody like, hey, I've done most of these steps? Okay, Jabari, good question. Should the videos be self-hosted on the website or embedded via YouTube? Does time spent on a web page matter for Misha? If so, what's the shortest length of time? Okay, really good questions. So let's just dig into these. So starting with Jabari, who was first here, self-hosted, that's going to be really, really resource intensive. I was just talking to our senior developer today about a new project that we're working on, where we need to have a bunch of podcasts showing up on a page, and those are much less resource intensive than videos, right? Even with those alone, even with a pretty good hosting plan for this client, we are not going to be just straight up embedding those. We are going to try to use a third party such as SoundCloud or something like that, where we are not taking up tons of space with those, and then trying to pull them in at a really good speed. Which gives the most SEO equity? That I don't know. I don't know if there's a difference, but I can tell you that if, in my experience, that's all I want to speak to is what I've seen. I have seen where you take two similar articles and one gets a sweet video added to it. I mean, forget about user engagement alone. The search engines are going to go bananas over the video one. And so I would say A+ on the video one. My favorite formula that we do is you have a video on there that's a kick butt video, and below that you have it fully transcribed. You drop some keywords in there and you're kind of hitting it from all these different angles, and that's just SEO gold right there. But hope that helps, Jabari. Misha, does time spent on a web page matter? Yes, that is one of the ranking factors. What's the shortest length of time? I don't know that. But if you look at the slides, there are one or two where I linked to the 200 or so known Google ranking factors. This is one of them, and you can, if you go to that page, and I'll maybe we can go back to that real quick. That would be, if you can find that ranking factor, you can open it up and see which research led to that and see if there's more information on that. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, you're welcome. And then what's the difference between YouTube and Vimeo from Annalise? Huge difference. I don't want to sound negative towards YouTube, but YouTube is so used and it's free that there's not really any kind of barrier to entry. And so you get a lot of characters on there that are going to say things that you don't really want them to say on your videos. And you're going to have a lot of people to kind of try to climb past when it comes to, you know, are you optimizing your videos and doing keyword rich titles and meta tags on your videos, and forget your website, or I should say in addition to your website, transcribing your video in YouTube and creating a blog post for it. And, you know, it's just it's so much work unless you have someone helping you, or unless you have just a lot of free time for some reason. But yeah, honestly, when it comes to YouTube and Vimeo, YouTube is more of a community, and it's the kind of community where you're going to have all sorts of very colorful characters on there. And you may want that, you may not want that. Vimeo is, you know, if you're just going to embed a video on your blog and you're like, hey, I just need a place to host my video. I don't have time to try to climb past people and build a community and social media with YouTube and monitor comments and all that crap. Then Vimeo would be hands down the winner. It costs a little bit of money every month, but not much. Well, it depends on how much you're going to use it, and how much space you need and how much upload and all that kind of stuff. But that would be the winner for you. But if you're thinking, hey, you know, we're building our brand. We really want it out there. We want to be big and famous. And yes, we want to be really out there where everybody is, then YouTube would be for you. But when you're embedding on a website, I think Vimeo is a lot cleaner because it's not going to have suggested videos at the end. You know, if I'm reading a blog, if I'm on someone's like tutorial page or something like that, and there's a video that pops up, and so I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to watch this video instead of reading the article. And at the bottom, there are recommendations for totally unrelated videos, or they might relate to like some music video I was watching yesterday or something. To me, that looks really unprofessional. Or at the end, it shows like a tile of 9 more videos to watch next. And they kind of would just take me right out of that user experience. Like I might be reading this great article. I don't want to think about this music video I was watching yesterday. So for that reason, I really dislike the way YouTube videos look. I think they look really, they look pretty rough when you embed them on a website, but you have the community aspect, which could be something in the pros column. So got some pros and cons there. There's not really a one-size-fits-all answer. I hope that helps, Annalise. Pamela, yes, but I'm not promoting it yet. It was a practice video. Okay, great. Yeah, those are the 2 most popular options. I'm sure there are other ones out there, and hopefully this information has been helpful to you. It might help you decide which one is going to be for you. But okay, so wrap up. Thank you guys for your patience. So we've now outlined some basic things that you should understand about SEO and local SEO for your website and beyond, really. We've covered 15 actionable, practical steps that can help you out on your journey. So now it's your turn. Not to sound cheesy, but it is. I can't really do this for you unless you were to give me a phone call or something like that. But so this gives you a great foundation, hopefully, to get your business to the local search results. You can start climbing them if you really start optimizing those and getting lots of reviews. Make sure you get Google Analytics and Google Search Console going if you don't yet. Super important, and they're free. And it's a great idea to test to see, as I mentioned, what's appropriate for your business. Because a lot of these things, people like to present things like it's a one-size-fits-all answer, and that's just not reality. So, you know, see what works if you're testing out different ideas. Also, just the idea of SEO in general. It's a lot of work, and it might be for you, it might not be, but you can even test that out and see, you know, after 3 months or after 6 months, like, where is this working for us? Test it out. Am I seeing fruit from our investment? Things like that. Okay. So now is a good time to check to see if there are any final questions, but you have to hold your hand like that with a pen in it. David and I presented this, I think last month or the month before, and there was a guy who literally, when he saw this slide, he held his hand just like this with a pen. So that was pretty great. Could you show the screens for number 2 and 3 again? My internet blanked out. Absolutely. So let's just go way back and look the other way while I do this. Okay. 2 would be, are your listings optimized? Okay, so these are your local listings. And this is a great article if you're like, hey, I'm on Google My Business. Our business is listed on Google Maps and stuff, but how do we climb past our competitors? Read this, or just listen to the things that I said. Fill these things out, get more reviews. If your competitor has 300 reviews and you have 20, you got some work to do. I hate to tell you, but those are things that you can do to climb on the local search results. And then number 3 was, did I skip? Here we go. Are you getting client reviews every month? Okay, so kind of same as what I was just saying there. Really want to be, set a goal for yourself just so you don't forget, or otherwise you'll probably hit it really hard for a week or 2 and then just kind of forget about it like everything else. So it's a good idea to do something like this. This is something that if you work with an SEO agency, they're going to do stuff like this. They're going to say, okay, we're going to set this goal right here. And that's good, because after time, it's kind of like putting money in a savings account. You're going to be growing and growing, and that's what you want to be doing. So, okay, anybody else have any final questions? Okay, I think I have a couple wrap-up slides at the end here. You're very welcome, Joe and Marlene and Eris. Let's see here. So just a quick plug, having Google certifications, Moz training, and Moz Pro access, we can help you with your SEO needs from keyword research to SEO site audits. If you would like more information or have more detail-oriented questions that we were unable to get to today, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. And you can call us toll-free at this number here, or you can email me at zack@bartoninteractive.com. Additionally, as David mentioned at the beginning, if you would like a no-cost advisory service, it's advisory service. So there, we're not going to be clicking buttons and doing things for you, but can give you some advice for entrepreneurial stuff or business stuff, or as David mentioned, all the loan stuff, the SBA stuff, that's just a huge topic right now with us. Or if you're interested in free workshops, things like that, contact the SBDC. You can call this number. We have an office here in Reading. And, or you can email Emily on our team, emily@norcalsbdc.org. All right. Thank you so much. I think that about wraps it up. Thanks so much for staying. Thanks for your patience. This was a long one. Hopefully this helps you. And I think that's it. Have a great day.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Zach. One more thing. You will be getting an email tomorrow with the usability link, a link to this recording. We recorded this presentation from Zach, and a copy of the slides. There's also going to be a link for a survey. And we'd really appreciate it if you fill out that survey. That helps us with the SBA. It helps convince them that we're actually doing stuff when they see surveys. And we will really appreciate it if you provide that to us. And Zach, they're asking for your email again.
Yes, so I just posted that in the chat, but if you're not looking at the chat, can you go back to here?
There we go.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd love to hear, what's working for you or what's not working for you. I feel like everybody's kind of got a story when it comes to people who've really dug into SEO, and I love hearing from different people on that. So, or if you have any other questions or anything, feel free to reach out. So, okay. Thanks everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.